So we have four speakers today. We'll have our superintendent, Matthias Segura. We'll have our board president, Lynn Boswell. We'll have one of our trustees, Catherine Whitley-Chu. And then finally, we'll have our assistant superintendent of special education programs, Dr. Cherry Lee. So I'll hand it over to Matthias to kick it off.
All right. All right. Good afternoon. I'm Matthias Segura, superintendent, and I'm excited to be here today as we celebrate a major achievement and really talk about the next chapter of special education at Austin ISD. This morning, we were notified by the Texas Education Agency that we have successfully completed the requirements under the special agreed order and have been released from state oversight. So I do have that letter here. It is signed by Commissioner Morath. We received that, very, as I stepped into this role 3 years ago, the board and I identified the transformation of our special education services as the top priority. We often refer to it as priority 1A. And with the risk of state oversight on a horizon, we worked in lockstep to mobilize every level of our entire district so that AISD could be responsive and ultimately move towards this incredible achievement. That immediate system-wide effort was the reason we were able to shift the conversation from a state-mandated conservator to a partnership with TA monitors. I want to point out that getting to that place of compromise with TEA, which represents such a substantial shift from their initial recommendation of a conservator, was and remains unprecedented. And it was a testament to the thoughtful, collaborative work of my administration and the board that got us to that place, to a place where TEA could trust that we had the capacity, the focus, and commitment to dedicate the resources to do something we had not historically proven we were capable of doing. That agreed order became the roadmap for the foundational growth that we celebrate today. This has been a long road for us, and getting here required a tremendous lift in collaboration with our entire Austin ISD community, from families to staff to community partners. Everyone had a role to play, and every single person in our district answered the call. From the beginning, our focus has been on so much more than compliance. It has been about fundamentally transforming the special education experience for our students. Austin ISD first entered the agreed order in 2023, and at that moment, the path ahead looked daunting. We were charged with completing 99 tasks with virtually zero room for failure. To give you a sense of what we've accomplished together over the last few years, here are some of the highlights. We've completed over 10,000 evaluations and meetings to ensure that every student receives tailored support and services without delay. Our goal was to get to 100% compliance. And back in December, we reached that goal and have maintained it ever since. We designed and implemented a district-wide support plan to make sure every child gets the right level of support at the right time. Whether it's through high-quality classroom teaching or personalized help with lessons and behavior, we are ensuring that the way we teach matches the unique way each child learns. We've established clear district-wide standards for every campus, ensuring consistent experience no matter which school a child attends. We've grown our team by more than 250 specialized providers and evaluators, all supported by 120,000 hours professional learning to establish shared practices and establish high expectations. We launched a new digital management platform to ensure accurate and timely reporting of each child's services. And we've hosted over 100 family engagement sessions to strengthen trust and ensure families feel informed and empowered as partners in their children's education. Every system we've built and every hour of training we've completed has been for one purpose: ensuring our students with disabilities achieve at the highest levels. We are now seeing clear, measurable signs of the system and that it's responding. And that is an incredibly and powerful moment to acknowledge as we move forward. In third grade reading, our 2024-25 STAR results for students with disabilities show our students outperform the state by 3 percentage points, a clear sign that our focus on early literacy is working. In second grade, reading and numeracy, we've seen double-digit drops in the points of students with disabilities needing academic interventions. And y'all, a number going down is a really good thing. In first grade, we're seeing fewer students flagged at risk for dyslexia on the first grade dyslexia screener, which is a strong sign of strengthened core literacy instruction. So while we celebrate this milestone, what's most important is we continue to meet the needs of all our students. We're seeing strong evidence that we're on the path to strong and sustainable gains for our students with disabilities, and we remain committed to the work ahead. And we will continue to submit state performance metrics as it is a standard for Texas school districts. That does not change. And finally, I would like to share my gratitude with everyone who helped us get to this point. Thank you to our special education leaders, our teachers, our campus administrators, our evaluators, service providers, central office team, leaders, families. This is a huge, huge accomplishment, and I am so proud to be alongside each and every person in Austin ISD celebrating this incredible accomplishment. Thank you to our families for entrusting us with your children's education, for helping us get it right, and for helping us see where we have room to improve. I'd also like to thank our Board of Trustees for the commitment to the work and trusting this administration to get us here. And with that, I'd now like to hand it over to President Boswell to share a few words.
Thank you, Superintendent Segura. Thank you all for being here today. I want to start with some more thanks to Superintendent Segura and his team, to our Board of Trustees. We have several colleagues here. We have Trustee Whitley Chu, Trustee Gonzalez, Trustee De Urioste here, and the people who aren't with us today at this event, and all of our Austin ISD staff and educators for the focused, strategic, and very hard work that has gotten us here today to a place where we are better serving and better supporting our students who receive special education services. When we hired Matias Segura to be our interim superintendent, the trustees knew that addressing special education was the highest priority in that moment. We were confident that we had chosen a leader with the skills not only to strengthen our systems, but also to support the staff and students at the heart of this work. When the order came from TEA, Austin ISD had begun that essential and transformative work. And while the order from TEA focused on a specific set of tasks and requirements, the district viewed it as a catalyst to fundamentally transform the special education experience for our students and our families. The release from the TEA agreed order today confirms that we have established a high-quality, legally compliant foundation to support every student. It's also important to note that that foundation will help us as we continue improving this important work for every student who receives special education services in Austin ISD, to deepen inclusive practices, strengthen individualized instruction, and help every student reach their full potential. I want to thank our Austin ISD teachers, TAs, evaluation teams, librarians, campus leaders, and central office staff for the massive effort this has taken. Together, you have gone through more than 120,000 hours of professional learning, and you continue to work every single day with our students and families on your campuses. I want to thank the families who have chosen Austin ISD for their students and who have advocated for the district to do better. I want to thank the superintendent for stepping into this work, for believing this was possible, and for leading it so thoughtfully and so well, always with people at the center. And I want to thank my colleagues on the board for leaning into our governance role, for supporting Superintendent Segura through this process, and for backing key strategic decisions, including salary increases and a Grow Your Own program that allowed the district to stabilize staffing in very high need areas. Staffing is then all over the state, and we have done really good work together to make sure that we do have the people we need to help our students be successful. And I want to thank our trustees for a shared commitment to connecting with our community and for talking openly and honestly about academic achievement in Austin ISD, both how we are meeting students' academic needs and where there is more work to be done. Today's news is a milestone, but our work in this area does not end, nor does our commitment to do right by our families and the students in our special education program. None of this work would be possible without our families, and we are committed to engaging with each of you in a meaningful way as true partners in your children's education. You are essential partners in ensuring students receive the specialized instruction they deserve, and as a district, we are honored that you choose us, and we take our shared commitment to your children seriously. While the formal oversight from the state has ended, the work of serving students is never finished. As we look ahead, we're shifting our focus from building systems to deepening instructional impact and quality of services for students. Austin ISD is committed to maintaining all state and federal requirements while offering an education that goes well beyond the legal minimum. We are not just moving past an order, we are moving forward toward a future where every student in Austin ISD has the tools and support necessary to thrive. And now I'm honored to hand this over to my colleague on the board, Trustee Catherine Whitley-Chu.
Good afternoon. My name is Catherine Whitley-Chu, and I serve on the Board of Trustees because I'm a parent in the district. So I want to talk kind of like in plain language of what these monumental changes have meant for families like me and my child. So I was not planning to run for anything. I had a 7-month-old at home, and I had been going through an evaluation process for my older child for over a year in the summer of 2022. And when I heard the administration that preceded this one announced that they had caught up with special education evaluations, I knew that wasn't true. And I also knew that having a public school district means everything to me and to my family. Without public schools, the most vulnerable children don't get served. I knew as an expert, as a teacher in the classroom, and as an expert as a parent, and just really as a completely relentless person that I needed to step up and just do everything that I could. A lot of folks said that this task was so big that it was impossible, but that's really hard to tell a teacher who worked at Pierce, whose co-teacher in an inclusion classroom was Mr. Anderson, because we did impossible stuff every single day. So we came onto the board and hired Matias Segura to be the interim, because he was someone with the knowledge and just that same relentlessness and to get something done. Someone who doesn't believe that things are impossible, even in an environment where we are completely underfunded, where there are so many roadblocks making this work hard. Our teachers are so dedicated. Our evaluation staff works so hard, and we had a very, very lean team. So I really want to take the time to thank, I'm going to thank Miss DiCarlo, who's a school psychologist, who's the first school psychologist from Austin ISD that I met. Was here when there was just maybe a handful of people, and she's still here today. She's been with Austin ISD through this all. I see her at 7 o'clock in the morning pulling a wagon, going to one of the schools in our neighborhood if she gets to go there that day. And she has trained some of the new amazing people that have come on the team. I just really want to thank, if I called an expert in the community to say, what should Austin ISD do? What advice do you have? They answer the phone. I cold called people at UT and said, hey, why don't you send interns to Austin ISD? So this is my first month in office, and they said, oh, we cannot send interns there. We're worried that they're not going to learn what they need to do. Everything is so behind. And now the University of Texas proudly sends folks to Austin ISD. We are fully staffed. People are getting to do the work that they need to do. I want to thank my daughter's kindergarten teacher, Miss Williams. I want to thank her first grade teacher, Miss Nichols, her special education case manager, Miss Chick. My daughter is reading novels in second grade now. Something that looked like it would be, which was a big lift, but they took care of her. And I want to thank Mr. Jurgens, her music teacher, who helped give her a voice, in addition to her speech therapist. I want to thank Miss Leatherwood, her art teacher, who, in addition to the occupational therapy she receives in school, has turned her into an artist where she can express herself. So I'm really, really grateful. None of this is possible without the support of leadership. Our teachers and evaluators and administrators in the school working with students, they put in all the work, but they need the support. And so I am so grateful to our superintendent and to the team he has built that has done so much to support our kids. And I just want to say thank you so much. And then I'd like to introduce one of those leaders, Dr. Cherry Lee.
Thank you, Trustee Shu. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you. Hello, my name is Dr. Cherry Lee, and I'm serving as the Interim Assistant Superintendent of Special Education Programs, Section 504, and Health Services. And thank you all so much for being here today and supporting Austin ISD. I want to extend specific thanks and gratitude to Dr. Baker over here, who is our Senior Executive Director over Compliance and Operations, Reporting and Evaluations, as to Krista Etheridge, who is our Executive Director of Campus Support. She's not here today, but I also want to extend gratitude to her, as well as Dr. Robinette, who began this work with the TEA agreed order when she was serving in this position. She has since retired, but she has been a very important part of this story. So this milestone marks the culmination of focused and collective effort across our district. And the work to reach this point has been immense. And it was carried out by people who support and put our students first every day. Our educational diagnosticians, our school psychologists, our speech language pathologists, our occupational therapists, our physical therapists, our mental health specialists. All of these people, all of these service providers have made extraordinary efforts to eliminate evaluation backlogs and ensure students received timely evaluations and met timelines. We've completed over 10,000 initial evaluations in the last few years, and that included after-hours testing, weekend testing clinics, summer testing clinics, where staff were working overtime and over hours to ensure students were evaluated. Our central office team members partnered with campuses to build sustainable systems, and our compliance team members worked tirelessly to submit reports and monitor performance metrics to the Texas Education Agency. To our principals and our assistant principals and our campus leadership teams, thank you for embracing your role as integral instructional leaders of special education services on your campuses. To our teachers, both general education and special education, thank you for centering students and maintaining high expectations while navigating significant change at the senior leadership level, including learning a new digital management system, completing hours upon hours of professional learning, while providing high-quality instruction. To our teacher assistants who uplift both teachers and students, we are deeply grateful. Collectively, our school district has completed more than 120,000 hours of professional learning. We've delivered over 100 family engagement sessions, like Superintendent Segura mentioned, and these have been aimed at increasing understanding with our families of the special education process. This year alone, special education teachers have facilitated over 10,000 annual meetings using our new digital management system. It's been a huge lift, and it required dedication beyond the typical demands of our roles in public education. We also want to express deep appreciation to our superintendent and board of trustees for approving innovative staffing proposals, increasing evaluation capacity, supporting significant salary adjustments, and allowing us to develop a grow your own pathways in high need areas. These decisions have been instrumental in our success as a district. To our families, thank you for your trust. We know that a system is only as strong as the partnership it shares with our community members. We've worked intentionally to move beyond checking the boxes to reestablishing trust. We want our parents to feel included, informed, and empowered at every step of your child's way in the special education journey. While today is a celebration, it is not a finish line. The milestone has given us a solid foundation, but our next chapter is about sustainability, maintaining that momentum, continued campus capacity building, and setting those high standards for our students. We're shifting from stabilization to instructional impact, and we're establishing a culture where high quality individualized education programs, or IEPs, are the standard and inform instructional practices. We're investing in differentiated training for our service providers so that all of our staff members are equipped to deliver high quality special education services. The agreed order required us to examine our systems, rebuild where necessary, and recommit to serving students well here in Austin ISD. And that growth does not stop today. Our commitment remains very clear. Every student in Austin ISD deserves the tools, the support, and the individualized instruction necessary to thrive in college, career, and in life. Thank you to our staff, our families, our board, our superintendent, and our community for standing with us. Together, we will continue moving forward. Thank you.
All right, so we'll now open it up. Did you?
No.
To any questions about this achievement or anything about this special education order? Yep.
For Superintendent Segura,
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit about what this means families for the relationship between the district and the TEA? We have this news today. A couple weeks ago, the agency was announcing that it was investigating the district for student walkouts.
You know, one of the things that, as I reflect about kind of where we are in this journey, one of the things I want to be really clear about is, you know, when we started this order, there needed to be a collaborative relationship with us and Texas Education Agency if we were going to be successful. And whether that was how the monitors worked with us or our Lone Star governance coach, they have certainly been that when it comes to, you know, working with us to get to this milestone. You know, there are lots of things happening in the state of Texas, and, you know, I am solely focused on protecting our values, ensuring that our students get what they need to be successful, being relentless in ensuring that I'm allocating resources to move the system. Everything is connected because we are in the state of Texas, but I think it's important to note that they certainly recognize, and I think the letter, you know, at this point, given all that's been happening around us, kind of stands on its own. So, you know, there's a lot. Everything is connected in some way, but I do believe that the agency understands that here in Austin ISD, we are moving the work. Students are growing, and we've been able to do things that haven't been done before, and I think that's appreciated. Of course.
How do you make sure this kind of backlog doesn't happen again?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's systems. You know, I often will say that the work that we're doing maybe isn't as glamorous as you might otherwise expect. It's about really ensuring there's a shared understanding of the system. You know, every single person in Austin ISD needs to understand how they contribute to the learning experiences of our students. That means if you're in operations, you're in finance, you know, if you're in teaching and learning, wherever you are, well, that means you have to understand what our students need. And you have to be really thoughtful about the systems that you introduce, ensuring that they're owned by the entire organization. And I think that work that we've done together over the last 3 years has put us in a really good position to have those systems so that we can monitor, we can adjust. You know, 3 years ago, almost to the week, you know, we were building tools kind of in real time to assist our principals with understanding kind of what backlog they had within their own schools. Now we have a comprehensive system that was a gargantuan lift to get across the finish line. We did it in about 6 months when it takes, most school districts 2.5, 3 years to get through that type of effort. And so now we are truly at a place where we can monitor, we can build and refine. So I do not expect us to take any step backwards. In fact, I think we'll be taking actually many steps forward now because the systems are in place, that foundation is in place. But it's incumbent upon the board and the superintendent to make sure that it continues to be a focus. And so this is a huge milestone, but the work is not over, but certainly something worth celebrating.
And I'd love to add to that. From the board's perspective, the superintendent leads the work on our campuses with our staff, and it's the board's job to ask and answer questions about that work, to make sure we're tracking it, asking the right questions, and looking at the right information to make sure we don't see that start creeping up. And so together, it's the partnership that's gotten us here, and I strongly believe that it's the partnership with all of us, staff and board, that will keep us from sliding back into that again.
When it comes to the timeline of completing all those tasks, the release from the survey, how do you feel like the district performed when it came to that and trying to get this done, in a timely manner?
Yeah, so 3 years ago, like almost to the week, it was like late January, middle of January, when I came on board, there was this huge need to do something that hadn't been done before, and that was to transform special education in Austin ISD. And I don't know that many of us remember the amount of work that took place before we even got to the order. The order was approved by the board in August of 2023, but from January all the way through the spring semester of 2023, we were working very, very hard to improve our systems and ensure that we had a plan that included thousands of tasks that would ultimately get us to a point where we had a healthy system that was doing what it needed to do for students. And one of the things that we just talked about was our staffing. At one point we had 22 LSSPs and diagnosticians in Austin ISD. We had over 70 vacancies. We had to think differently if we were going to do this work. So I very much appreciated the board giving me the ability to take those first steps so many months ago. And some of those steps were uncomfortable. Some of those steps were different than maybe what we'd have done otherwise. And then once we got the TA agreed order, it was making sure there's a shared understanding within our system, making sure there are clear expectations, making sure that we acknowledge this was priority 1A. If there was something else that we were going to take on, we needed to acknowledge that it may impact our ability to be successful. So in that way, it needed to be deprioritized. And then, making sure that every single person, whether it's someone in technology, someone within finance, someone within in operations, understood that they were contributing to this overall initiative. And so, yeah, there were 99 tasks that probably represented, over 1,000 subtasks. And I do want to acknowledge that at one point along the journey, when we were having challenges in turning over our platform, or actually ensuring that our platform was meeting the needs of our students, we had to make a change, and it was very difficult. I remember thinking at night, how am I going to tell hundreds of SPED staff and our principals that this platform that we had been training with was not going to be the platform that ultimately got us to this point at this moment. And the agency understanding that we had met multiple milestones, had demonstrated the ability to do good work, gave us the kind of extension that's referenced in the release letter. So there were lots of different things that took place, and no one will maybe understand or comprehend the number of individuals across all divisions that had to be 100% aligned to actually deliver on 99 tasks in a system supporting 70,000 students. It's just, it's quite remarkable. It's incredible.
What kind of response are you getting from parents? You talked about this task and all the work it took,
Yeah.
but what are you hearing from people about how they're feeling with their child at home now that all this work has been done?
Yeah, I think for us it's always understanding where our families are. I think it's, personally, with the feedback that we've gotten, there's certainly been a lot of positive feedback that we've received. But again, we're still growing and building, so it's not It's not ever going to be where we want it to be, right? It's continuous growth every year, semester over semester. But we have heard from lots of families that what they're experiencing now in Austin ISD is very different than what they experienced, 4 years ago. And that's what we want. That's really what we need to be doing as a school district.
As you all have mentioned, this is a foundation.
Yeah.
And getting to this point, what are the next areas of growth for Austin ISD in special education?
Yeah, so I definitely want to have Dr. Cherry Lee kind of chime in after me. The first thing I would say is, there was a couple comments made around making sure that we understand where our students are in their academic journey, and also recognize that 74% of our students receiving special education services are in general education classrooms. So I know that in years past, this is prior to this kind of iteration of the board and the administration, it was always, SPED and others, like divisions. This is a shared understanding and shared ownership that we are all responsible for all of our students' educational journeys. And so there'll be a lot of work around academic achievement because our students can grow, they should grow while they're here in Austin ISD. And it needs to be done in a way that aligns with who we are as a school district. And so there are lots of things that we built with MTSS, the alignment with teaching, learning, and leading. I mean, the list goes on and on. But that's where we go from here. It is building on that work. And you heard some of those data points here. I don't know, Dr. Cherry Lee, if you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go for it.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. No, I stepped on.
So definitely sustainability and sustaining the systems that we've established is going to be integral. Also, what is going to be important is ensuring that our special education teachers have the skills and knowledge that they need to implement the curriculum that we've adopted here in Austin ISD and provide high quality instruction using effective features of instruction, which are good for all students. Not only students with disabilities, but all students benefit when our teachers are trained and they're providing instruction using those high quality features of instruction. And you may be wondering, well, what are those? What does that look like, right? So some of that includes posting the objectives in the classroom and making sure that we're guiding students and telling them what we want to learn, what we expect them to learn, showing them how to do that or modeling, and then letting those students practice and then providing rich practice opportunities with instructional feedback, right? Both affirmative feedback and corrective feedback. So that's all part of that opportunity, and then removing barriers for students, right? Removing barriers. So making sure that students can access that curriculum. If students are having challenges with reading, we want to provide rich reading instruction, but we also want to provide the accommodations that our committee or the 504 committee has determined appropriate for that student. So making sure that our classroom teachers know how to implement those accommodations, but also to track those accommodations, right? And that teachers feel confident as well, all teachers, special education and general education, feel confident reviewing the data, first taking the data, reviewing that data, and then using that data to plan lessons, right, to support the student. Yeah,
We'll
thank
do
you.
2 more questions. Yes. I had a question for the superintendent.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're aware of Governor Abbott's statements about walkouts and him saying that schools could lose daily attendance funding for those. Any response to that?
We've responded, with our original approaches. This is about special education, but certainly, like I said before, everything is woven together. Our protocols and our procedures that have been in place are aligned with TA guidelines and with our board policy. A student that is marked absent does have an impact on average daily attendance. We also understand the environment that we're in, but we want to ensure that we do things that align with who we are as an organization. So I am aware, and we're doing everything to ensure compliance, be hyper transparent about what we do and how we do it. But student safety is a priority for us. I always tell folks, we exist to educate, but our number one priority is safety. And I've been pretty consistent about that since the day I took this job over 3 years ago. I think I'm aware, and we've responded already.
Last question.
What sort of documentation does AISD have to provide to TEA to kind of prevent another intervention?
Yeah, so what's on our website, which you'll see, are all the different deliverables that we've submitted over the last 3 years. Every time we submitted a report to tie to one of the tasks, we had a memo, it went to our monitors, and ultimately went to the agency. And so there's nothing that's going to be required as part of this order But because we are a school district in the state of Texas, there are annual reports and semi-annual reports that we will be submitting just like any other school district would. And so I'm ensuring that we continue to meet those high expectations that we have as a school district. So there'll be nothing in addition to what any other school district would have to go through. But again, it is very important that we build from here and not revert back. And I have all the confidence in the world that we'll continue to grow and thrive.
Well, thank you all so much. The letter from the commissioner is on our website. We've been updating the homepage for special education. So if you need anything else, let our team know. We have everything there. Great. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you all.